What if you could stare down a life sentence, face a mountain of accusations, and still walk away with what some are calling a victory? That's the shocking reality for Sean Diddy Combs. The verdict that just came down isn't the end of his story. It's the beginning of a disturbing new chapter about fame, power, and the high price of justice in America. But before the verdict came the storm. Months earlier, the world watched as federal agents descended on Diddy's opulent mansions in Los Angeles and Miami. This wasn't a quiet knock on the door. It was a full-scale military-style operation. Armored vehicles rolled up his driveways while helicopters buzzed overhead. Agents in tactical gear swarmed his properties, seizing computers, hard drives, and phones. His sons, Justin and King Combs, were filmed being led out in handcuffs during the raid. The sheer force on display was a message. The federal government was taking the allegations with the utmost seriousness. It was a dramatic, humiliating public spectacle that signaled the beginning of the end for the untouchable mogul. Fast forward to the courtroom. The air was thick with tension as the jury foreman prepared to speak. When the words "not guilty" were read for the racketeering conspiracy charge, the RICO case that could have put Diddy away for life, the music mogul pumped his fist slightly. It was a flicker of victory, a moment of profound relief, but it didn't last. As the foreman continued, the mood shifted. Guilty. The first conviction came, related to transporting a woman across state lines for illicit purposes. Diddy's hand went to his forehead, rubbing it as the weight of the new reality set in. Then came the second guilty verdict for the same crime involving another woman. His family sat stunned, his son Justin burying his head in his lap. As each juror confirmed their decision, Diddy nodded and mouthed "thank you," a bizarre gesture in the face of defeat. Turning to his family, he made a promise that now hangs in the balance. "I'm coming home, baby. I'm coming home." But the real confusion began when the public tried to understand the verdict. How could Diddy be found guilty of transporting women for paid encounters, yet be acquitted of trafficking? It's a legal distinction that feels like a cruel loophole to many. To understand how this happened, you have to look at the defense's strategy. Diddy's multi-million-dollar legal team likely focused on one thing: creating doubt. They would have worked tirelessly to pick apart the credibility of the witnesses, suggesting they were motivated by money or fame. By introducing even a shred of reasonable doubt about whether Diddy used force or coercion, they could dismantle the more serious trafficking charge. This federal case also represents just the tip of the iceberg. It doesn't even begin to address the dozens of other civil lawsuits filed by other accusers, each with their own harrowing stories. For the victims in those cases, this verdict felt like a devastating blow. While the world was reeling from the news, the one person who started it all was watching closely. Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former partner, was the one who lit the fuse. Her lawsuit and the subsequent leak of the horrific hotel surveillance video showing Diddy assaulting her was the catalyst that brought his empire to its knees. Her attorney released a powerful statement framing the outcome as a landmark moment. He said that while the jury didn't convict on the trafficking charge related to Cassie, her bravery paved the way for the other guilty verdicts. For the first time in his life, Sean Combs has been held responsible for federal crimes. Her lawyer added that Cassie showed exemplary courage and brought attention to the misconduct that has persisted for decades without repercussion. It wasn't the total justice many hoped for, but it was a crack in a seemingly impenetrable shield. The verdict didn't just cause confusion, it ignited a firestorm of raw anger online. Within minutes, social media was flooded with outrage. People expressed a deep sense of betrayal, arguing that the verdict sends a chilling message to survivors everywhere, that their stories aren't enough, especially when pitted against immense wealth and a team of high-priced lawyers. Many questioned how a jury could watch the horrifying hotel video and still not convict on the most serious charges, calling the outcome a gross miscarriage of justice. It felt personal for thousands who saw Cassie's struggle as a reflection of a system that too often fails to protect the vulnerable. As expected, the verdict sent shockwaves through Hollywood, creating a deep and bitter divide. Aubrey O'Day, a former artist under Diddy, shared a video of her reaction, looking physically ill. "Oh my God," she said, her voice filled with disbelief and disgust as she heard the not guilty verdicts for Cassie and the RICO charge. "This makes me physically ill. Cassie probably feels so horrible. On the other side of the spectrum was 50 Cent, whose response has been more than just simple mockery. For months, he has waged a relentless online campaign against Diddy, but his involvement goes deeper. He announced he is producing a documentary series titled Diddy Do It, with a portion of the proceeds reportedly going to victims of assault. This transforms his actions from petty trolling into a strategic public campaign to ensure the stories are not forgotten, regardless of the court's verdict. But perhaps the most bizarre reactions came from those who rushed to defend the fallen mogul. Rapper Boosie posted a tearful, emotional video celebrating Diddy's partial acquittal. He argued that he was tired of seeing black moguls get took down and tired of seeing the community turn against them. He pleaded with people to think about Diddy's 7 children who have been in the same position as his own kids, not knowing if their father would ever come home. His defense was met with immediate backlash. People in his comments reminded him that Diddy was, in fact, not free, and that he was now a convicted felon facing prison time. The exchange exposed a painful fault line where loyalty to a powerful figure clashed with the grim reality of the evidence presented against him. This outcome, however, did not come cheap. Legal experts estimate that by the end of the trial, Diddy had likely spent over $10 million on his legal defense. High-profile federal defense attorneys often charge retainers of $1 million or more, and Diddy had assembled a massive team working around the clock. This raises an uncomfortable question that hangs over the entire case. Is justice different for the wealthy? Did Diddy manage to avoid a life sentence not because he was innocent of the worst charges, but because he could afford a legal arsenal powerful enough to poke holes in the prosecution's case? It suggests a troubling reality where the quality of justice you receive is directly tied to the size of your bank account. Despite his defiant message to his family, Diddy did not walk out of the courtroom. He was taken back into custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. His lawyers are now desperately trying to get him released on bail while he awaits sentencing, arguing he isn't a flight risk and would cooperate with any travel restrictions. They claim he treasures the opportunity he has been given and will respect the court, but prosecutors are fighting back hard. They point to his documented history of volatile behavior and substance issues, arguing that he cannot be trusted and should remain behind bars. So while Diddy told his family, "I'm coming home," his immediate future is locked in a golden cage, entirely dependent on a judge's decision. Beyond the courtroom and the potential prison sentence, there's another verdict being handed down, one in the court of public opinion, and in that court, the damage is irreversible. Major brands that once partnered with him have already cut ties, his music has vanished from many radio stations and playlists, and the Diddy name has become synonymous with abuse, not success. Even if he serves minimal time, he will re-enter a world where his empire has crumbled, his reputation is in ashes, and his legacy is permanently stained. This is a prison of public perception that no amount of money or legal maneuvering can help him escape. In the end, the verdict is a complicated, messy, and deeply unsatisfying conclusion. Sean Diddy Combs, the untouchable mogul, is now a convicted felon, but by escaping the racketeering and trafficking charges, he also avoided the life sentence that many felt he deserved. The outcome is not a clear win for him, nor is it a clear win for the victims. It's a murky gray area that leaves a bitter taste and a haunting question for everyone watching. What does it mean when a man can be caught on video committing a brutal assault, be accused by numerous women of heinous acts, and still have the wealth and power to escape the worst consequences? This verdict sends a chilling message about who our system is truly built to protect.